Hi guys, Boiler Room here. This week's been an unusual week for news in Destiny, where Bungie have released a couple of updates in succession. They've had a few different issues pop up, and in response to that they've actually released 3 updates in the last 2 days on their website in This Week at Bungie. And most of it relates specifically to the issues that surrounded Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris being cancelled. This Week at Bungie tells us that the issue was apparently the new Players Inactivity feature that tells you which of your friends is playing which activity. Apparently the issue was relating to those people who have a large friends list and a large number of friends in a particular activity. So what they've done is, with the recent hotfix 2.3.0.1, is limit the number of players being displayed in the Players Inactivity feature to just 10 names, 10 friends on your friends list playing in a particular activity. The hope is that by doing this, they'll eliminate the connectivity issues that people had in Trials of Osiris, which would have flowed into Iron Banner had they released the activity. So this weekend's Trials of Osiris is really the litmus test to see if it has actually worked. And if it does, then we'll see Iron Banner return on Tuesday, Wednesday for those of us down under. On top of that, Bungie also released a news update for those people using legacy consoles like Xbox 360 and PS3. The update serves as a reminder that Destiny Rise of Iron will only be available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, so if you are on a legacy console, what they call legacy consoles, you'll need to upgrade to a current gen console to be able to access the Rise of Iron material. They've also identified, as they have previously in their reveal streams and all the other conversations surrounding E3 and so on, that there'll be a forking in the road of character progress as of August, just prior to the release of Rise of Iron. So if you're on a legacy console, any character progress after that time won't actually carry over to the current gen consoles. Your character at that point in time will split off and will have its own progress. You won't be able to go back and forth between the 2 generation consoles. Unfortunately, what this means is that from August onwards, if I want to carry something from my Xbox One to my Xbox 360, I won't actually be able to do that unless I had it before August. But the big one here that I want to bring to you in this update is actually from an article that was released through Playboy.com of all places, in an interview with executive producer Scott Taylor. They talk briefly about the recent changes with the June update 2.3.0, specifically about hunters and trip mines. They also have a brief conversation about introducing the new social space Felwinter Peak, and likened it to, say, the Dread Patrol mission, perhaps an extension of how we interacted with the environment in Dread Patrol after completing Regicide, where you place patrol beacons around and the Dreadnought effectively becomes a new patrol zone. I believe the intention is to expand on that concept where you interact with the environment and make permanent changes. So we come into Felwinter Peak being overrun by Fallen, and as we interact with that space and clear it out, it becomes an interactive social space for us to return to. From there, they then talk about rituals, which has been alluded to in the reveal stream, various other E3 interviews, and now again in this Playboy article. The rituals where we become or interact or partake in the ancient rituals of the Iron Lords, where we become an Iron Lord. I believe it's in this kind of style of activity that we will actually gain the Gjallarhorn. They then go on to confirm the current infusion system as continuing. They talk about how they actually like the system as it is. Eric Osborne has talked about it in a number of interviews that I've seen. Scott Taylor's talked about it again in this article. Chris Barrett has talked about it in various articles and interviews. So it seems that Bungie have come to a point where they're really comfortable with the infusion system. It's a system that is available and accessible to everyone. It means that anyone, even the casual player who plays every now and then, can actually reach a light level reasonably easily so that they can participate in all the endgame type of activities rather than being excluded because, you know what, you don't have a high enough light level, or you don't have this, or you don't have that. They're trying to minimize the RNG aspect of it so that you're not excluded if you don't have a Gjallarhorn, so you can't ever do the Crota raid because you don't have the Black Hammer or an Icebreaker or a Gjallarhorn. They want to eliminate that sort of thing. The intention is, with the infusion system, to provide as much accessible material to people and give them the ability to raise their light level as quickly as possible, as easily as possible, even if you are just a casual player and come on every now and then. That flows on into their conversation about new exotics, and Scott Taylor fairly quickly puts the brakes on and says, well, hey, we're only really talking about the Gjallarhorn here, which I've already spoken about very briefly, but it seems to me that one of the things that they want to do there, again with the Gjallarhorn, to prevent the kinds of things that happen to a lot of players due to RNG, with Crota being excluded from things like that, is that they want to make it an accessible weapon for every player. And to do that, what they've done is they've built it into a quest system. Now, Scott says that, hey, look, it's a pretty tough quest, but it's something that everyone's going to be able to do. So that's encouraging for me, in that everyone should be able to achieve that. And if you can't, I'm sure that you've all got friends that can guide you through the quest and help you out. And if you don't, there's always LFG and there are always people like me that will help you if you can get in touch with them. When they talk about other exotics on top of the Gjallarhorn, the conversation centers around new exotics that people don't know about yet. So it seems to me that there's some new material, which is great, on top of what we've already got that's coming in Rise of Iron. The question is asked about old exotic gear coming back, and you know, those hidden exotics that were supposed to come in Taken King but never did. You know the ones I'm talking about. When that question was asked, no answer. In fact, Scott Taylor kind of talked in circles and then essentially said, I don't have a good answer for that, so I'm literally not going to answer. And the interviewer just said, you know, that's fair enough. So we'll see what happens when Rise of Iron drops on September 20th. We'll see how that plays out, but we may see some changes in the way that it's approached. We may see some of those things come back. Maybe those hidden exotics will finally come into the armory. I mean, I know they were in the armory and then they were removed. The other thing is, just quickly on infusion, anything that you've got in the Taken King and that you get after will be infusible up to Rise of Iron light levels. So I just wanted to touch on that very quickly for you as well. Your 2 gear will not be maxed at 335. It will be infusible up to Rise of Iron levels, whatever that happens to be. Will it be 365? Who knows? That's my guess. But we'll see what comes on September 20. If you've got any questions, chuck them in the comments below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Please hit the thumbs up if you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.